But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Oh, ladies and gents, let me make sure, as we always do, the audio's good, the video's good. Hair looks not garbage. Alrighty. Welcome to the voice of college football, Missouri Tigers. It's week one, baby. Oh my God, I am so excited. I am your host, Zach Ramilius, here with the voice of college football, Missouri. It's gonna be a little bit of a longer show tonight. We have a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about the depth chart. We're gonna talk about what I want to see from the Central Arkansas game, and then we got to finish doing previews. So we're gonna get into OU, and then that'll be it. But we still have a lot to go. I am Zach Ramilius. This is my co-host. That's Ollie. Ari is somewhere else. I don't know why Ollie's in frame. Anyway, I hope you all are excited as I am. Like always, we will be live post-game for the Voice of College Football for Central Arkansas. The games I'm hoping to get on like 30 minutes after the game ends. So thank you all for being here. Season's here, guys. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. If you want to come hang out every Monday night, the show will stay on Mondays as the season goes on, and talk football and even preview more stuff and just more Missouri Tigers content. Come here. There's a lot of great Missouri outlets out here. I want to become one of them. Come hang out. Live streams after each and every game, and we'll be live on Monday nights. And as the season goes on, we'll probably do some other things too that I like to do. But what I also want to announce, and I'm going to put it in our chat real quick. And I'm putting it in the chat, we do have merch. The Voice of College Football, we have merch. If you go to this shop, we have hats, we have all sorts of stuff, hats, t-shirts, polos. I'm probably going to get myself a t-shirt. We do have a couple hats. I'll probably wear one of the t-shirts on one of these shows instead of just this same old Missouri jacket I always seem to be wearing. If you use promo code Voice of College Football Missouri, you get a little discount and might get a little discount. And also it helps me out. And thank you. I mean, I've been working for this network for 5 years. It's been really, really fun. I have enjoyed it. And we finally have merch. I know that's a big thing. Mark, who you can follow at Voice of College Football, has really been working hard on. So thank you for that. And we have merch, and it's super cool. So thank you guys all for all the hard work at that level. And then thank you guys for watching, tuning in, wherever you might be. So enough talking. Week one's finally here. I am so excited. Like Thursday night, like I'm even excited for you. I think Boise USF's kind of a fun game. So Friday night, Georgia Tech, Baylor. Now, good Lord, I'm mixing all these games up. Georgia Tech, Colorado, and Baylor Auburn are going to be super fun. Saturday's obviously a loaded slate. It's just so cool that we're finally back. And you can follow me on Twitter if you want to hang out with me Saturday. PsychoZ50. Come hang out, talk. Will be cool. Anyway, let's get into it. This is Missouri Tigers Live. We've talked all offseason about this QB competition, how I think it's going to be Bo. Eli has said they're both going to play against Central Arkansas. We'll see how that goes. I still am a little under the belief that it's going to be Bo, but they have to keep Sam Horn engaged. Sam Horn's going to play baseball once the season's over, so they have to keep him engaged. Or things, maybe he checks out a little bit, and that can't happen because there is a chance Bo stinks or Bo gets hurt. He is a runner. He's a physical runner. So you have to be available for that opportunity. You have to have that opportunity laid out in front of you, and that's I do think it'll end up being Bo as the starting quarterback for the Missouri Tigers week 2 against Kansas, but they're both going to play this week. And getting into this week, let's go in. We got a depth chart. Some shock surprises, some not so surprises, but we'll go ahead and get into it. I'm just not going to read everything. We just talked about the quarterback. There is an or there. Running back, we have Matt Hardy or Jamal Roberts. A lot of people are freaked out about that. It's going to be Hardy, guys. It's not. It's going to be Hardy. Tavares Jones or Marquise Davis as that third running back who's going to get a few carries throughout the year. We'll see. Tavares Jones has been around. So he was in the class of 2022. He was a 4-star. Davis has really impressed these guys at Drinkwitz and Coach Loop and all these guys at camps. So I think you have to be excited there. I think they're set pretty well at the running back position, but it's going to be Hardy. You don't bring him in and have him sit behind Jamal Roberts. Jamal Roberts is a great complimentary back for what Mizzou wants to do, but that's where we are. Wide receiver, no surprise, Marquise Johnson, Kevin Coleman, and Josh Manning, all on the leader of the depth chart. At Marquise at the X spot. So you have Xavier Lloyd, the transfer, Logan Muckey is more of a special teams guy, and James Madison the second. We'll back him up. They're all oars. I think they're all going to see snaps. Daniel Blood or Sean Terry at the slot, and then Donovan Bode or Demarion Folks, the freshman, will be out wide behind Josh Manning. That's your wide receiver room. You need 2 guys to step up in that room. Now, that could also be joined with the tight end room, which is Brett Norfleet or Harris. It's going to be Norfleet. Trust me. Harris is more of your blocking tight end. If Norfleet emerges, then you'll need one of those receivers. But somebody besides Kevin Coleman needs to step up and be that wide receiver 2 or that target 2 for when it's 3rd and 6 and Bo has needs a place to go. Where's he going to go with the football? Like Josh Manning had some moments. Haven't really seen anything. Marquise Johnson's just kind of been a speedster deep threat. Like there is a room for that in this offense, obviously. But he needs to be able to go catch a curl route or a hitch on 3rd and 4 to get a first down. At offensive line, like we talked about last week, it's going to be Dominic at left guard, Caden Green at left tackle, Tolleson, Curtis Piegler, and Keegan Trost. That's your there's no oars here. That's your offensive line. Javen Richardson's your backup. Jalen Early. Tristan Wilson's going to be your backup center and another backup interior because Logan Reichert, who I said all offseason had a real chance to be a starter, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So this is kind of a dead season for him. And then Johnny Williams, transfer from West Virginia, will also be a backup tackle. I think they like, as far as I can tell, anything I listen to, they really like their offense. Like, even people I know that listen, they're like, look, on the side, they're saying this. They really like their offensive line. They're really confident in what they have, even losing Membu and Marcus Bryant. But we'll see. I'm not totally confident in it quite yet. The fact that they had to bump Green out to tackle worries me. We talked about that last week. I know they like Johnny Williams. I know they really like, but besides that, like I haven't heard a lot about Jalen Early. I've been on I don't know why. There's a Florida State channel I really like that does a lot of X's and O's stuff because I think I know what I'm talking about with X's and O's, but then sometimes I'm like, oh God, maybe I don't. So I've been watching a lot of that, and they did not have a lot of positive things to say about him last year. But there was very few positive things to say about Florida State last year in general. So that's the offense. No real surprises there. I know there's an or, but next to Hardy and Roberts, but I don't think that's that crazy. So we go to defense. Zion Young, the obvious starter, no surprise there. Langdon Kitchen or Nate Johnson. So you're going to see them both get a lot of snaps. I think no Hilson on this depth chart, which is a little surprising. Even at the jack, you have Damon Wilson and Darius Smith. And I think in pass rushing situations, you'll see Wilson and Smith and not Young on the field. Nose tackle. This is my biggest area of concern with this Mizzou defense. Is it going to be Marquise or is it going to be Sterling Webb? Who's going to step up next to Chris McClellan? Who's going to be that interior presence? You probably need 3 guys there. Who's going to be a third guy? They have, 5 names on the depth chart. 2 of them need to be above replacement level SEC players. They don't need to be stars, but they need to be above replacement level, not weaknesses. Weak side linebacker, no surprise, Tristan Newsom. Backed up by Nick Rodriguez, who this staff loves. And then again, no surprise at linebacker, Josiah Trotter, and then Khalil Jacobs backing him up, and then Jeremiah Beasley. I don't think there's any surprise at linebacker. They really like their linebacker room, and I can't say I blame them. It's a lot of experience and there's experience with Newsom. He's a 6-year player. They really like Khalil Jacobs. They loved him from South Alabama before he got hurt last year. They really, really like Nick Rodriguez as a youngster, and Trotter's only a sophomore too. So they love their linebacker room. At star, it's going to be Dalen Carnell. Again, no surprise, backed up by Caleb Flagg or Mose Phillips, transfer from Virginia Tech. The Rover, Jalen Catalon, he's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of SEC football. He played at Arkansas and Texas. And he was good at UNLV last year. So there has to be hope there. And then Marvin Burks at free safety. I think you'll see a lot of Marvin Burks. I think you'll see a lot of Trajan Jecko, and I think you might even see some Caleb Flagg over there at free safety. I know he's listed behind Carnell, but Carnell is not coming off the field. So then you have your corners, which is going to be Dre Norwood, and then Toriano Pride or Stephen Hall. This is the room for me with Mizzou that has the most variance. And what I mean by that is I think this room, if someone steps up and plays at a cornerback 1 level, like a top half of the draft kind of corner, which Pride can, you're in good shape. Like this corner room, I think Stephen Hall is really dependable. And I really like Norwood is like a cornerback too. It's going to come down to if Norwood can take another step, if Pride can take a step, that's what it's going to be up to. And then Nick DeLoach as your 4th corner. Connor Wesselman's your punter. Blake Craig, your kicker. There's your depth chart. Punt returner is going to be Kevin Coleman. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that. I would make it Daniel Blood or Folks or even Sean Terry. Kickoff returner, Tavoris Jones, Jamal Roberts. That's fine. Or Marvin Burks or Marion Folks. Again, I don't like stars returning punts. I know, what if they break one? But I think the odds are higher they get smashed and hurt before they break one. So there is your Missouri Tigers depth chart. It's real. It's real, guys. We're here. It's super exciting, and I'll tear up. Now I'll tear up when I watch USF Boise. Again, good game. I'm really looking forward to that one. It's going to be tricky. My voice needs a breather, so I'm going to play something for you guys real quick.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Brada, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Well, wasn't that fun? Okay. So that's the depth chart. No issues there. This is what I want to see Thursday. 1A, 1B, 1C, 2, 3, and 4 on my list. Nobody get hurt. Absolutely nobody get hurt. The thing that's tough about these games, and when I did Alabama, I covered them, and for Alabama, there are even more. Like Mississippi State was one of these games. With these games, it's hard to take away a lot of positives. Now, if Bo goes out there and is 21 of 22 for 260 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Sam Horn is bad, like obviously we're going to take something away from that. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I want to see a defensive tackle other than Chris McClellan disrupt, make some plays, or at least do what they're supposed to do, and that's suck up that run game. And I want to see a lot of the young guys. I want to see some of the freshmen out wide. I want to see Matt Zollers take a snap. I doubt he will because I think they're going to really push this QB competition. And I want to see like some of these receivers outside of Kevin Coleman really like, okay, like you can't, maybe not Josh Manning because Josh Manning looked kind of decent in some of these games last year, but I want to see like Marquise Johnson catch like a slant or a dig, just something that's not a go or something that's a wheel or something that uses, whoa, I just moved my table. Something that uses his speed. That's what I want to see offensively, defensively. And most importantly, I cannot say I emphasize this enough. Nobody get hurt. Absolutely nobody. That's the big thing. It's going to be not like you only get guaranteed 12 of these a year. I'm really excited. No injuries, please. And then, like I said, I want to see a receiver step up. I want to see how this offensive line kind of looks. Like it's hard to judge against Central Arkansas. I don't want to be negative come Thursday night. Like if Mizzou wins, like the Murray State game last year, they kind of did what they were supposed to do. Even if like Bo looks good throwing the ball, it's hard to be like, oh my goodness gracious, Mizzou has it high. Like it's just not. That's not what happens when you play a team of this caliber. I want to see Darius Smith and I want to see Damon Wilson get after the quarterback because I want to see Darius Smith, man. Like they were so excited about him last year, and then the injury hit, and they just didn't have another pass rusher next to Johnny Walker. Like Zion Young only finished like a second half. So I'm very excited. Obviously, to watch this game. It'll be on the big TV. And then I will be here live right afterwards. Yep, 6:30 kick. I don't know what else to say. Like I'm pretty excited. So the second part of this show tonight is we're going to get into OU. We've been doing these team previews throughout the off season. I took a week off for a family event. So tonight should have been Arkansas, but it's not, which would have lined up perfectly. We'll do Arkansas next week. So next week's plan, we'll talk about Central Arkansas Thursday. I kind of want to get it all out of my system. We'll see if anything comes out Monday. We'll probably have another depth chart. We'll talk a little bit, and then we'll preview. We'll really preview the Kansas game. We'll preview Arkansas. We'll preview the Kansas game, and that'll be next Monday. But tonight we're going to preview OU, and the most important thing with OU going into this season is Brent Venables. The long time, been around OU for a while. Was a really good coordinator there. Obviously, went to Clemson. Was awesome as a coordinator there. He was also a coordinator at Clemson, and he is calling the defense. Again, which, you know what? He was one of the best ones like in the country. So fair enough for him. He's 22-17 at OU. That's just not good enough for the Oklahoma football program. That's just not. Like, I have no love lost for OU, but they're a blue blood. Like, they are a traditional power, and that's just not good enough. They've had one pretty good season, and they need to rebound in a big way. And they don't have the schedule to do it, but we'll get more into that. So the big thing they did was they had to rehaul the offense. They just had to. Seth Luttrell, they got rid of. I forgot they lost to Navy in a bowl game because we did that. Mizzou did that in 2009. But this has to be the big year for them. They bring in Ben Arbuckle, and we'll talk more about him in just a little bit. He's skyrocketing up. He was at Houston Christian. He was at Western Kentucky, and then Washington State, where he did coach Cam Ward, and then he was there last year with John Mateer. We'll talk about him in just a moment. It's just not a good offense last year. Now, part of that was all of their skilled players died. Like they were very excited about their wide receiver room, and then it just kind of stunk, unfortunately for them. So they bring back Deion Burks. They lose a lot else. Sorry, I have tabs open, and I kind of want to click off those tabs just so I know where I'm going next. But they do lose a lot. They don't return much on offense. That's probably a good thing. They do return some on defense. They did lose Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman, who were awesome players. So we'll see how they are able to replace them. I tend to think that a Brett Venables team is going to have a pretty good defense. It was pretty good last year. I mean, if the offense just doesn't turn the ball over like crazy, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, Jackson Arnold didn't throw that many picks, but against Mizzou, they turned it over, 4 times? Let me look. I have this pulled up. Yeah, 4 turnovers for them. It just was never pretty. It was never in sync, and it just never looked good. So, like Venable, like this is a big year. There are a lot of people comparing this year to 2015. 2013 OU was fine. Trevor Knight went off against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, an Alabama team that didn't want to be there. And then they entered 2014 with preseason top 5 hype, and then they fell apart. Oklahoma fired Josh Heupel, who then went to Mizzou in 2016. But they fired Josh Heupel. They brought in a fellow by the name of Lincoln Riley. The fun fact about this, I believe it was Dave Matter. He used to work for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and now works for the University of Missouri. If you want to see a fun tweet, one of the names, so Mizzou ended up hiring Josh Henson as their offensive coordinator after firing David Yost to the 2012 season. I'm going off on a tangent here. I do apologize. One of the names they interviewed for that offseason before the 2013 season was Lincoln Riley. That sucks. That sucks. They had a chance at Lincoln Riley, and they picked Josh Henson, who was really good in 2013, okay in 2014, and then 2015, maybe the worst offense I've ever watched that didn't belong to the University of Iowa. So awful. Anyway, but they bring in Lincoln Riley, they bring in Baker Mayfield, and that whole program gets reinvigorated. They make the playoff. The next year, I think they made the Sugar Bowl. They make the playoff the next 3 years, and then they've kind of dipped again. But OU kind of does feel like they need a little bit of that like reinvigoration. They just need a little bit like they're good. I think they'll be better this year. We'll talk more about their schedule and kind of where I think they'll be at this season. But it's a program that definitely feels like it's in a little bit of a rut, and they just need to they need a big year, or they need like some kind of evidence that things are going in the right direction. Now, Mateer is only a junior, so he could be there 2 years, and that certainly sets up for a big 2026. If they get some momentum this year and some other young pieces they have. They do feel kind of like a program in a rut where, yeah, they're good, but like they kind of feel like OU, like LSU under Les Miles at the end, between like 2000 2013 and what did he get fired in 16? So like 2013 to 15, where it's like, yeah, LSU's good, but they're not. They should be better. That's kind of where OU's at under Venables, and we'll see what they do to take that step up. They bring in John Mateer. I did spell his name right? I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Yeah, I did. John Mateer is a good player, man. Like he kind of rules. Like I loved watching him at Washington State. He played at reckless. He just doesn't care. He threw for last season up on the Palouse. He completed 64% of his passes, 3,100 yards. I'm rounding down a little. It's 31-39, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. He also rushed for 826 yards and 15 touchdowns for a Washington State team that, pseudo Mountain West. They went 8-5. They were 6th in the country in points per game. Jake Dickert, now at Wake Forest, did a really good job kind of leading them through that first really tough year. They did beat Washington too. John Mateer's a good player. He just is. I mean, there's no, I'm not here to I like watching him play. Like, he always seems like he's having a great time. Not in like a Diego Pavia way, but like just in a this is amazing. My one concern with Mateer, and I think this is a fair concern anytime a quarterback steps up. We didn't see it with Cam Ward. Cam Ward looked really good, but the ACC is not the SEC. A lot of the times last season, like if you look at Washington's schedule, he was the best athlete on the field. Like they played a rebuilt Washington program. Come on, pull up for me. They did go to Boise, so obviously to play it, but they beat up on Texas Tech. Like in a lot of these games, he was the best athlete in the field. And what makes him so special is his ability to run the football. He did run for slightly over 800 yards. Like that's crazy. When you step up to the SEC and the athletes are better, think of like Johnny Manziel when he went to the NFL. Like, okay, like you can't do some of this crap against this level of competition. We'll see. I kind of think it'll work out. They did get him Jade Knott, running back from Cal. Although weirdly, if you look at their depth chart, he's 3rd behind Javonte Barnes and Blaylock. Like that's a little strange. Backing up John Mateer, I know he had the whole gambling thing that ended up being BS, which thank God. You do have Michael Hawkins still. I know they really liked him, and they're glad they kept him around. So I think they have 2 quarterbacks who I think put them in a better spot than Jackson Arnold did last year. Weird again that he's there. Jay Knott last year struggled, 3.3 yards per carry on 116 carries and 10 games. He just was not the same running back he was in 2023 with 246 carries, 1,300 yards, and 12 touchdowns. If they can get closer to that Jay Knott, like they're in a pretty good spot. But we'll have to wait and see. We've like the Calgorithm last year really made you learn about Jade Knott. So Javonte Barnes, we'll see. I would be shocked if Jade Knott does not lead that team in rushing when we get to the end of the year. Okay. So moving on, the bigger thing is wide receiver. Bauer Sharp transferred away, so that obviously didn't go well. Keontae Lewis for Southern Illinois had a nice year. I have his numbers right in front of me. 49 catches, 813 yards. They got Giovanni Gibson, 70 catches, 1,200 yards. They bring back Deion Burks, who had a really nice season at Purdue a couple years ago, but struggled with injuries last year. They bring in Sategna from Arkansas, who had 491 yards. It's a good on paper, it looks like it could be a pretty good wide receiver room. Now we'll have to wait and see. It's going to rely on health and some guys stepping up at a level they've never been at before. Again, looking at the depth chart, nothing crazy on this offensive line, except it does as the starter at left tackle is Michael. Oh, Lordy. I accidentally hit a thing. Oh, my computer. How do I get a new computer and it's still? So they do have Michael Fasusi or Jacob Sexton as an or. Pull up this. It's easier to read on here. Which is interesting. Yeah. Right tackle Derek Simmons, like nothing else that's crazy here. They do bring back their entire interior offensive line. So with another added year of experience, Logan Holland, Derek, they have a bunch of oars at tackle as well as right tackle. So we'll see, man. Like their offensive line got better as the year went on. They were beat up just like the wide receiver core was. Jacob Sexton is still on the roster, right? I don't see his. I was looking over. Oh, there he is. He's the or at left tackle with Michael Fasusi, who was a Mizzou target for a very long time and ended up picking Oklahoma. So I think it's a solid offensive line. Like if Fasusi hits, that only adds to the talent level. But you do have that worry of a true freshman starting in the SEC. So we'll see. We'll just have to see. The defense, I think it's going to be pretty decent. The defensive line was okay. The secondary, not very they did not do a great job of causing havoc. If the offense, 60% completion rate, 112th in pass explosiveness, which is not very good. They didn't portal many guys in. I think they think their secondary's issues were youth related, not like skill related, and they have the pieces that they think that can really step up this year. They have a little reset at linebacker, but again defensively, it's hard to think that they'll be bad defensively. I mean, I know they love Mason Thomas. Monic Williams was a Mizzou target in the transfer portal from TCU. He was really good for them last year. He doesn't stuff a stat sheet, but he's just really good at all the stuff that defensive tackle should be good at. It'll be interesting to see who they start. Let me pull up their depth chart again. Who they got at DN. So they are starting Marvin Jones Jr. Marvin Jones Jr. is interesting. He was really hyped coming to last year to Florida State. He has all the tools. But he just couldn't quite put it together and also did not look like he wanted to play football I didn't go to defense. Wanted to play football on a down-to-down basis. So, again, Brent Venables, even on his worst day, I think is going to have a pretty good defense. And he needs to, man. Like, it's an offense in flux. We'll see. Now, if the offense hits, if they have a top 20 offense, OU's might make the playoff. The only thing holding them back might be the schedule, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But yeah, I think the defense, the roster-wise, OU looks much more like an SEC team than they did last year. A lot of that was due to injuries out wide. Like, I don't think all their receivers are going to die again. So, hypothetically, jokingly, everyone got hurt. So, I'm going to take another little water break and play this for you.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact. Just like whatever link you use right now, no difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
All righty. Like I said, we do have merch. I put it in the chat. Promo code Voice of College Football Missouri, guys. You can help me out there as well. So the thing that you have to break down with OU that makes it tough is that schedule. The schedule is brutal. So they start the season on Saturday with Illinois State. They'll win that one. Then they have Michigan at home. They go to Temple. OU playing at Temple is weird. Maybe like it's Philly, so like it makes more sense than UMass. I'll say that. That's for sure. Then they got Auburn. They got Kent State at home, at Texas, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, bye week, at Alabama. I mentioned a bye between Auburn and Kent State. That's an awful spot for a bye. At Alabama, Missouri, LSU. Okay, so my predictions for OU, I had them losing at South Carolina, I had them losing to Texas, and I had them losing to Alabama. I had them at 9-3. I think it's going to be a big bounce back. I think the offense has a lot of talent. I think they'll have slightly better injury luck. I think it's going to be a pretty good offense, and I trust Venables to have a good defense. Where this could go better, OU to me will know after that Michigan game. Because if they beat Michigan, a run up to 5-0 is in the cards. They do get Auburn. Auburn is at home in the Jackson Arnold revenge game. I'm not very everything I see out of camp with Auburn does not look positive offensively from the quarterback position. So we'll wait and see on that one. But man, if you beat Michigan, you're 5-0 going into that Texas game, which all of a sudden becomes huge because now you're probably in the top 10, especially with wins over Michigan and Auburn. South Carolina is going to be tough. Ole Miss is going to be tough. Tennessee is going to be tough. And then after you play Kent State, you're playing 7 top 20-ish teams. Mizzou's the worst team they play for the rest of the year. And I think Mizzou's a top 20 to 25 team in the country. So that's where this could go wrong. Like if you lose that Michigan game, I think they'll split Michigan Auburn at worst. Like this is worst case scenario, not what I think my predictions have winning all 5. But at worst, I think you split those. So now you're 4-1. You lose to Texas. Now you're 4-2. You have to go to South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee. Oh God, at Alabama. What's worst case here? 5-1, 7-5, 6-6. Is 6-6 on the table? It absolutely is. And if you're Missouri, today I would pick Oklahoma to beat Mizzou. I just would. I had Mizzou at 8-4. I had them losing the 5 games we've talked about, Arkansas, Vandy, and then beating South Carolina at home. Those are the 8 games I have Mizzou winning, and then we'll get more into that in a little bit. But if you're Mizzou, there's a chance OU's on quit watch because Venables, the number I keep hearing is 8. You have to get to 8 wins. OU fans aren't stupid. They know this schedule's brutal. They know, especially this year, you should not expect to beat. You might, because weird things happen in Red River, but Texas, Bama. And then you have to go to South Carolina, who's looking for another nice year. At Tennessee, tough place to play. You have LSU. You have Ole Miss, who's a top 15 team. You have Missouri, who I think is going to be a pretty decent team. 8-4, 9-3 is kind of where they need to be at. And if they're not, Venables is going to get fired. So if you're Mizzou and you let's say they lose to Michigan, they lose to Texas, they lose to South Carolina, they've lost at Bama, they split Ole Miss. And 1, 2, 3. They lose 2 of 3 to at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee. So they're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 4-5 or 5-5 going into the Mizzou game, and Mizzou's having a nice season. Mizzou's 8-2 or 7-3, and I think that's your real opportunity to get them and maybe put a hurting on them. Last year's game was, everyone remembers the ending, and that's fine. That game was ugly. Mizzou, Drew Pine was 14 for 27. He did throw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jackson Arnold, 15 for 24 for 74 yards. So not even 5 yards a completion, 3 yards an attempt, which is awful. He did run the ball a lot. No one was able to run the ball well. Jamal Roberts, 13 for 54. Okay. Marcus Carroll, 13 for 25. Dear God. Nate Noel, 10 for 31. Oh, Lordy. We said 2 touchdowns, and Norfleet had a touchdown. Just an ugly football game. Zion Young with the fumble return because for some reason OU tried to score with like 30 seconds left. I don't know. I don't quite know what they were thinking there. Anyway, I would pick OU to win that football game today, but things change. Like OU could be on a quit watch at that point. Like you're 5-6 and you're staring down still LSU and at 5-7. Like it's just a brutal schedule, man. Like I don't know quite what they're gonna do. I have them at 9-3. Like I think I think they're gonna be pretty good. I don't think they'll make the playoff. I think they're gonna be kind of like right outside of it. That LSU OU game could be huge for like playoff implications. But I'm just not quite sure they make it this year. But a 9-3 season, and you bring back a lot like Fasusi, and you bring back Mateer, and you bring back Jay Knott. Like I think there's a real chance that 2026 could be a big one for OU. So that's my OU kind of spiel. I don't wish them luck. I kind of hope they stink, but you are listening to Missouri Tigers Live. So if you're an OU fan and you catch wind of this, of course I don't hope you're good. But I do in my predictions that I had you at 9-3. So you are listening to Missouri Tigers Live. Before we get into the final Mizzou thing, I wanted to talk about this. The SEC did announce they're going to go to a 9-game schedule. Probably a good thing. Although if you're Mizzou, it's going to be interesting. So I think 2 of your opponents are pretty locked in stone. The SEC really wants this Auburn or Arkansas Mizzou thing to continue being a thing, much to Arkansas fans' dismay, because I'd be mad too if we had to play a team that beat us every year. And it's going to be OU. As for the third team, I've seen some people say Vanderbilt, which I'm of two minds. The other one is South Carolina. I think those are your big two. It could be like Kentucky or A&M, but I think it's going to be – I think they're going to put A&M with LSU, Texas, and OU. And if you're OU, like you can get Texas – like if you're OU, you better hope – I don't think you're hoping you get Texas A&M, and Mizzou. I think the SEC will give them one like more traditional SEC team. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm of two minds. Like some people think South Carolina, some people think Vanderbilt for the Tigers. For one, I would really like Vandy because more often than not, like you should go into every SEC season going, okay, win your non-conference games, and Mizzou doesn't have any crazy non-cons. Like Illinois has stepped up, so we'll see where they are when Altmaier leaves, and if see what Bielema does moving forward. But I think you should still beat Illinois most years. And you have like Kansas, so you should beat, I think, Colorado and whatever. But win your non-cons, and then those two, you won't always, but at this point in your program, you should expect to beat Vanderbilt and Arkansas every year. And then you go in and we'll see what happens. South Carolina would just be really fun. That has been a fun rivalry game for a long time now. They're Beamer and Drink don't really like each other. I don't think they hate each other. I don't think it's Drink and Heupel. Like Drink and Heupel clearly do not like each other, or like Beamer and Stoops. And if you're South Carolina, obviously you want you're going to get Georgia, you're going to get Florida. It's going to be weird to see how the SEC kind of handles this kind of stuff. Because like if you're ESPN, ideally you want Alabama to have LSU, Tennessee, and Auburn. However, if you're Alabama, you're gonna be like, why do we have to play 3 top 15 programs every year? And that's before we might also have to play Texas or Oklahoma gets their stuff together, Florida, whoever. Like, can you not give us like Mississippi State? Like, so we get one, like, okay, kind of a gimme. And we'll see what the TV execs do, because it's like, okay, we also want Alabama and LSU to make the playoff, but we're going to give each of them a loss. So, or one of them a loss automatically. So I don't know how they're going to do that. It'll be interesting. I think Mizzou, you're locked in with Arkansas. I think you're locked in with Oklahoma. I will give Arkansas fans this. If they give Arkansas Texas, I don't know, because I think they're trying to make this LSU Oklahoma thing a thing. So we'll see how it all works out. But if there was a way that LSU plays Arkansas and Oklahoma, or Arkansas gets like Texas, Mizzou, and somebody else, I would be okay, and I think Arkansas fans would be too, if you flipped it and you gave Arkansas LSU back on Thanksgiving weekend and Mizzou Oklahoma became rivalry weekend. I think 4 fan bases would be pretty okay with that. OU might be a little miffed, but I think Mizzou fans would be happy with that. I think Arkansas fans would be really happy with that. And I think LSU fans would be like, oh, cool. Like, we're not playing Texas A&M I think it's Texas A&M. I think that'd be fun, but I think Mizzou, yeah, you're locked in with those two, and I think it's going to be between Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Like, Vanderbilt's going to keep Tennessee, and then outside of that, I don't know. Like, it's somebody's going to get really lucky. Like, Kentucky might get pretty lucky here. They might get like South Carolina and Vanderbilt and like Tennessee or Mississippi State, because they were like the teams matched up. Someone's going to get lucky with like just how they're matched up. I hope it's Mizzou, but we'll see. But we'll cross that bridge. Like we're talking about seasons. I don't want to talk about 2026. I just did want to bring that up. Like, I think you're locked in with Arkansas and Oklahoma. We'll see moving forward. So before we log off tonight, I'm going to give my final Missouri Tigers football predictions for the 2025 season. As I stated a little bit ago, I have Mizzou at 8-4. I think that is a perfectly acceptable season for Mizzou this year. I've broken these games down into tiers. There are the games you cannot lose. It'd be embarrassing. Kansas looked pretty good against Fresno until they shut it down. A little nervous about how many hits Jalen Daniels was taking. Even against Fresno, I don't think that bodes well, but especially with his injury history. But you cannot lose Central Arkansas. You cannot lose Kansas. You cannot lose Louisiana. You can't lose to UMass. Can't lose Mississippi State. Those are 5 gimmies. So I basically have you going 3-4 in your big games. I have them beating 2 teams you should expect to win. You may not always win, but you should. Like I just talked about with the road-containing opponents, Mizzou should expect to beat Vanderbilt, and they should expect to beat Arkansas. So that's 7. So that means you need to get 1 win against Auburn, South Carolina, Auburn, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Oklahoma. I have them beating South Carolina at home. I think South Carolina is a good team, but that was a really close game. I think Mizzou at home. I think Mizzou at home just takes that one. We'll break that game more down when we get to September 20th, providing nothing stupid happens, like South Carolina doesn't lose to Virginia Tech or Vandy or whatever, or or Mizzou doesn't drop one to Kansas. Provided nothing stupid happens, I think that'll be a fun one in week 4. So I have them at 8-4. I think Bo's going to be the starting quarterback. I think Hardy will be your starting running back. I think Hardy is going to lead the SEC in rushing. Mizzou's had a tendency to have guys lead the SEC in rushing, whether it is Tyler Beatty or Cody Schrader or whoever. Kevin Coleman leading receiver. I think Darius Smith leads the team in sacks, and I think Toriano Pride leads the team in interceptions. But more, I've kind of talked about that. I have this team locked in right now, 8-4. If you win a bowl game, that means in the 3 seasons you will be 30-9 before the SEC switches everything up and goes to 9 conference games next year. That's really good if you're a program at Missouri's caliber. That's really good, 30-9. I'm excited for the future of the program. This can't be a 6-6 year. So now we'll walk through different scenarios. So the scenario, again, I am under the impression that you will not lose the 5 stupid games. So I think the floor is 6-6. But what is that path to 6-6? Obviously, you win the 5 stupid ones, you win the rest. I think or you win one more. That's not really a hard thing to talk about. But how does Mizzou get to 10-2? Well, I think here's your path. You start out 5-0. All right? You start out 5-0. You beat South Carolina at home, which is what I have. You beat South Carolina. You have a win over Kansas. I think number 17 team in the country is staring you in the face as Alabama comes to Columbia. I guess, how does Mizzou make the playoff? As Alabama comes to town, I have no question Mizzou's not beating Alabama. It's just not happening. To make the playoff, though, that game cannot be a blowout. With this schedule, it cannot be a blowout. You need to lose that game 30-17, 31-20. It doesn't have to be close, but you cannot get crushed. You go to Auburn. Jackson Arnold stinks. The team's falling apart. They've already lost a game or 2. And let me actually look at Auburn's schedule real quick. We did Auburn so long ago, I've forgotten their schedule. So the week before they play you, they play Georgia, and they'll have already had to go to A&M, and they'll have already had to go to OU, and they have Baylor. So there's a chance Auburn is 3-3 or 2-4 at that juncture. Where would they be mentally if they're 3-3 or 2-4? Now, if you're 4-2, whatever. But this is again the path to the playoff. For a program like Mizzou to make the playoff, you're going to have to catch some breaks, guys. It's just what's going to happen. But I don't think I'm saying anything crazy here. If I am, please leave a comment. Reach out to me on Twitter at PsychoZ50. You beat Auburn. You go to Vandy. You beat Vanderbilt. Okay. So now you're what? 5-0, 5-1. So you're 7-1. So you need to go 3-1 down the stretch. You beat Mississippi State. That's 8. You beat Arkansas. That's 9. So you need to go 1-1. You need to split at OU and Texas A&M. It's not the angriest OU. I don't think it's the most angry drink as Minnesota lost. That's still Tennessee in 22. And we saw Mizzou in a revenge spot in Tennessee in 22. And we saw them drinking a revenge spot in 23, and they murdered the Vols. They get Texas A&M at home. It's not a revenge spot because that Tennessee team went out to embarrass Mizzou that day for their playoff hopes, whatever. I don't think A&M went out to embarrass them. I just think they punked them, which I think is a little more embarrassing in its own way. In a revenge spot at home, you get a W. Or you go to OU. OU, as we talked about earlier, OU schedule is so brutal. They're 5-5 at home, and you're 8-2, and you're like, look, we win the next 2, we're in the playoff. And I think it's scheduled even for an 11 a.m. kick in Norman. So it might not be a crazy crowd, 5-5, like the teams quit on Venables. Like that's kind of the path. And then you beat Arkansas. That is the path to the playoff. Again, and in your losses, whether it's at OU, A&M, Bama, whoever, you cannot get crushed. Last year, Mizzou had no shot at the playoff at all because they got crushed 75-10 in the 2 games they lost. Even if they had beaten South Carolina, they were not making the playoff. I have Mizzou at 8-4. I'm a little nervous about Eli's close game luck, but we've seen some programs just consistently overcome it. So we'll see. Yeah, I think that's all we wanted to get to tonight, guys. So like and subscribe. We were it's week 1. My top 5 games of the week. Baylor Auburn, I think is like really interesting, like beyond interesting for both programs. Like Baylor is a program that could make the playoff and win the Big 12. Auburn's trying to get back to like the top half of the SEC. It's a huge game. Obviously, Ohio State, Texas, even though there's really not a ton of stakes in that game in terms of the playoff, but it's still cool when those 2 teams play. Great. Miami, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson. Excited for those, just as you guys all are. Excited for Belichick, his debut. It's just going to be a fun week of football. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm even excited for like Cincinnati, Nebraska, because I don't think the Nebraska defense is good, and I think Cincinnati can score some points. So I think Nebraska wins that game, but I don't quite understand the playoff hopes for them, but whatever. Okay, so what? We will be live post-game Central Arkansas. We will talk about how both quarterbacks looked, how the team looked. We'll try not to be too negative, but like these kind of games, that's all I can take away. Like I said, guys, we do have merch for the Voice of College Football, promo code Voice of College Football Missouri. You can use the link in the comments to grab that stuff. Like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at PsychoZ50. And that's it for me tonight. I didn't shut up except for two little ads that I wanted to play for you guys. The off season's over, man. Like this is like my college football like fandom is like I love this stupid sport. Like some of you guys may be watching this, like there was none of you here live, which is fine. I just love talking about this stuff. Plus, it also lets me like, if people think I didn't say something, I'm like, oh, here it is on video. I love this stupid sport, and I'm so happy it's back. Like from now until like this December, like I sit on my couch every Saturday. Like I like the NFL, like fantasy and stuff, but I can't give up both my weekend days. Sit on my couch. I'm going to watch. I have 2 TVs. Someday I'll show you guys my setup. I have 3 TVs. I have my laptop, and I'm all reared back. I lay back. I get some I'm eating healthier. At this time last year, I was like 380 pounds. I'm about 250 right now. So feeling good. But now Saturdays, I can't go to the gym anymore. So, like the season comes and then the season ends, but then it's transfer portal season and bowls, playoffs and transfer portal. And then like we get into the end of that and then you get to like February. It's like, all right, time to take a breath. And then the spring portal comes and then I'm college football out by the time we get to like spring ball. I'm like not even playing NCAA. I'm just like, okay. I'm just like, I need a breath. And I love college basketball. And like the good news is like around that time is I love hockey. I love the NBA. I like the NBA. I love hockey. So like I got time to talk about that stuff. And then we get like into late July and I start to get the itches and now early July. And now we're here, man. Like it's good to have this back. It's an important part of my life. It has been for such a long time. And as the sport consistently changes, as the people who run it try to take people like what I love about the sport away, I'm really going to celebrate these seasons where it still slightly resembles what I loved when I was growing up and as I've gotten older. Now, it still could be somewhat similar when we hit a few years from now. I've kind of become an accelerationist. Like, let's just get to where we're going, and then I'll make my decision there. But what makes this sport special is like any given Saturday, so Vanderbilt can beat Alabama. Like Vanderbilt has no hopes of winning a national title. Neither does Mizzou. But for like one moment, like they were kings of the damn world, and Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame. Like Northern Illinois is just hoping for a MAC title and a fun bowl game. I know they made the Orange Bowl back in 2012, but like this sport is just about these kids, these Saturdays, and you just want one cool moment. The emphasis on the playoff is just really, really grating, and we'll see, man. Like I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this season. We'll see where the sport's going, but like while it still kind of resembles what I enjoyed as a kid, like and as an adult, it's a sport that's made me cry. It's a sport that's made me jump out of my freaking chair, my couch, and it's got me through. I've had some tough times in my life, and the fall comes around, and I'm like, cool, man. It's Saturday. Like, I with my job now, I work Saturday mornings. I get off at like 11, so believe me, I'm good there. And college game day is garbage now, so it's fine. Big noon, it sucks too, so it's fine. But I get up and I'm like, cool, man, I can watch. And I'm even thinking like I'm in high school, and I'm like, man, I can watch. I'm sorry for this tangent. Like I can wake up and at 11 o'clock, it's like, oh man, like I'll watch Virginia Tech, Wake Forest on ESPN or ABC, because that's what it was when I was a kid. ABC was some crappy 11 a.m. was some crappy SEC or ACC game. ESPN has a crappy SEC game like Mississippi State, Auburn, or like whatever. ESPN2 was always Beth Mowins calling a Big Ten West game, Iowa Northwestern. There was usually some Big 12 game on Fox. Who cared? Baylor, Texas Tech, whatever. And you go through that, you get through all the SEC on CBS, then you get into the prime time where you have the awesome Big 12 and Big 10 games and a fun SEC game, and then the late night, like, oh my God, Oregon Stanford kicks at 9. Like, this is awesome. So I'm just happy it's back, man. Like, it's going to be a fun year. I hope Mizzou has a great year, but regardless, man, that doesn't matter. I had fun in 2022 or 2021. Mizzou was garbage that year. That team was no fun to watch. Thankfully, I was doing Bama and not this. So I hope you guys all enjoy it too. I am Zach Ramirez with Missouri Tigers Live. Enjoy week 1, guys. We'll be back Thursday for postgame, and we're back, baby. We're back.